in the same way that Baldur's Gate 3 pushed the CRPG like landscape, my hope, you know, when I play a game like this to me feels, if you know what it makes me think and feel. Now I shouldn't. Okay, to me this feels like, even though, how do I explain this? So with Rebirth, for instance, the Final Fantasy, the 20 hours I played of it, right? Like, Square is trying to deliver on a nostalgia while also bring something new to the table. And I think when it comes to combat, or when it comes to music, design, like style, these games themselves are very well done. This sort of goes in the opposite direction and leans into that turn-based style without trying to like evolve it or whatever. It feels like this really pays homage and also tries to move the bar forward. And I don't know if people are going to respond to this in the same way that maybe they responded to, say, Baldur's Gate 3 or Elden Ring. I'm not sure that Expedition 33 is going to become the next XYZ. But I think what it will do, and I hope it will do, is send ripples through the sort of the turn-based, JRPG systems, and sort of have them thinking about how, you know what I mean, how they're going to, how they can also bring this sort of creation to their own games. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's nice to play a JRPG or like a turn-based game like this that I actually am finding myself leaning into. So my impressions, even within the first 3 hours of playing this game, I think that this game could really change the development of the JRPG like style. Musically, it's I don't want to say the word audacious, because I don't necessarily think the music is audacious or bold or whatever, you know what I mean? But the music really is present while also not taking away. And it's this wonderful balance of being melodically driven without just being ambient noise, which I don't have a problem with ambient music, but I still am getting the sense of mood, even though the last piece that I've listened to consistently was that vocal track that appears in this first little area. And it's amazing what a strong sense of melodic direction can do while also not stealing the spotlight like melody can do. It's pretty interesting. It's my first impressions of this 3 hours in are that I can't believe I ever doubted it. I just didn't expect. I think I was setting myself up for the expectation to just be that the game will be good or whatever. Like or that it would overpromise and underdeliver, which is a very normal thing, I think, in this day and age with gaming to feel. But this just showcases that when a team is cohesive and structured and aligned, what's actually capable. Let's talk in 25 hours. Right? Like, that's sort of my barometer. Final Fantasy 16, the first 4 hours, I was absolutely blown away by it. But by 25 hours, I couldn't wait for it to be done. So in the case of this, like, let's talk at the end of this playthrough and see where things are. I'm expecting to dump about 60 hours into this full experience, so the next week and a half or so. But I'm really impressed. I also really don't like dialogue in JRPGs. Voiceover. I actively turn it off because I grew up with Final Fantasy 9 and Final Fantasy 8 and, before the predominant use of voiceover. And so in modern turn-based games, I will turn off voice audio. But in an instance like this reminds me of Lost Odyssey. This reminds me of The Legend of Dragoon, where the story and all of it, it's very interesting how everything is sort of intertwined. And honestly, I think after this, I would almost be tempted to go back to Lost Odyssey, a game that really didn't get nearly as much respect as it probably deserves due to, I think it was exclusive on Xbox, wasn't it? So I'm really impressed. And those are my initial impressions of this game, and I'm thrilled beyond measure. It's very good. Also, there seems like there's a ton of customization with this luminous and pictos balancing system, which is really interesting to me as well. And there's like a legitimate fair bit of challenge. And that's the other thing that's really interesting, is that someone who likes Dark Souls or Sekiro or any kind of parry mechanic may actually find themselves drawn to this if they give it the chance and dive into it. I think a Soulsborne fan base could actually go absolutely nutty for this on expert or difficult mode. I mean, you see how difficult some of the stuff is in the first 3 hours even. It's very impressive. And you can't just fall asleep while playing the turn-based aspects, which is another negative, I think, to turn-based game systems at times. They're really not always that engaging. Obviously, it's bit by bit. It depends on the game. But in my experience, having played JRPGs for the last 30 years, more or less the most of the other games that I have dabbled with, and JRPGs being like the thing that defined my childhood, I feel like I have some sort of an ingrained sort of understanding of it, and I tend to zone out after a couple hours of playing a JRPG because the shit always ends up being the same thing. Well, here there's a constant sense of variability, and I feel like I'm getting that Legend of Dragoon sequel / reboot that I've been sort of seeking and wanting because I never got to play that game when I was younger. So those are my like first impressions of this, you know, almost 4 hours in. You know, I mean, God, yeah, it's I mean, I don't cry really at games that frequently, but even there was that scene that I'll feature here after this talking portion that, like, the music and the way that it was all balanced was just sublime. I mean, it made me care about a character in 30 minutes because of how well the dialogue was written and how well the pacing was. It's really incredible stuff. Really incredible stuff. It feels like it was written for people who were in their early teens at that time when all these great, amazing JRPGs were coming out. And now they're in their 30s, mid-30s, late 30s. And I think that this is also going to appeal, like I mentioned about the FromSoft guys, this is going to appeal to people that don't necessarily vibe with turn-based. It's kind of a win. It's kind of a win for everybody. So let's see where we're at in 30 hours, you know, and that'll be a different discussion, I think. I'm really excited for that moment. So I am insanely impressed. Insanely impressed. This is really, really, really well done. Really well done. Really well done. Hey guys, for this part right here, this is going to be getting into music, spoilers, and discussions about one specific scene in the prologue. So if you haven't gotten there and don't want to watch it, don't watch past this point.
Oh, you like uniforms now?
This too is your legacy.
In a way, it's yours too.
Oh, thank God that ended. Ooh. No, never mind.
Esti tornere marina, esti l'inaki soledad, dona
The suspense in that as she awakens. Wow, just them.
I'm here.
See, and that's why music works and is so important. It's not actually a niche. It's like, it's music in games is like so important. That scene would not have been nearly as evocative, or the subsequent moment of loss. Ooh. And also they extended it in a way that A, wasn't gratuitous, and B, managed to actually like sustain the moment for as long as possible, to stretch the feeling of pain and sadness in that moment. Whether you actually cry or don't cry, the music is imperative to leaving you with a sense of loss. And if it cuts too short, you get sort of jebaited and you lose the emotional emphasis of it. And if it's too long, then it's almost like,
There you are.
you know,
You can't hide from
inappropriate.
us, you know. Like I said,
Oh,
morning's
that was
best
done
with
incredibly
friends.
well, incredibly beautifully. It was not gratuitous. It was not overt. It was done with such elegance and pain within that. It's very beautiful. Whew. It wasn't masturbatory. It didn't lean into the. And now, and what's also interesting from a writing perspective is that now, like, the music is twinged with, there's still sadness within the piano, but you hear that, the way that the chords resolve, there's still, like, this moment of happiness, or a moment of beginning again or starting. You know, there's almost a brilliance within the piano here. This is very almost impressionistic, and well, not really. It's actually not impressionistic. It's much more in tuned with like a Mozartian movement, which is really cool, that expresses both guilt and joy at the same time, or not joy, but it's very effective. Also, mind you, I should also point out that the fact of the matter is that a lot of this is recorded. What's up? This is also, a lot of this is recorded live. There is some VST, but in general, the singing, and they were able to get some nice live recording happening. And I think one of the things that's really effective as well in that particular scene, and also in this, well, I don't know if this is, well, is hearing the pedal and the tone. That's really evocative when you hear the like actual like movement, or the sort of imperfection, or the noise in the sound and stuff. Really, really powerful.
Hey,